Blog Talk Radio.
Blog Talk Radio.
There's a mystery lurking the forested areas of the world. Many have seen something, but what is it? Are they seeing known animals? They claim they walk upright, like a human. There are so many eyewitnesses. Can they all be wrong? Is someone just playing a trick on people? Or is it possible a large bipedal being could exist in the forests of the world? You have a decision to make. Do you believe it exists? These are the topics we discuss on Sasquatch Watch Radio.
Nicely done, Billy.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Sasquatch Watch Radio. Today is March 5th, 2013. Spring is right around the corner. That's what I'm looking for. And with me tonight is my great co-host, the Creature Seeker. How you doing tonight, Creature?
Pretty good, Billy. How you doing?
Going just fine. Just waiting on the snow.
I'm glad spring is right around the corner because I think you'll be getting like 12 inches of snow soon.
Yeah, I know. Well, at least when I walk out, the snow will just be up to my ankles.
Those are some pretty tall ankles, Billy. That's all I gotta say.
How you doing tonight?
I'm doing great. We have a pretty exciting guest on tonight, right?
Oh yeah, we definitely do.
I think that's next weekend. Tonight we've got Dave Rupert. He's actually a pretty good guy. And one of the things that I like about Dave is he has a real passion for Bigfoot research.
Right.
And he has a real passion for just, I guess not only Bigfoot, because I've actually been out ghost hunting with him, and he just has this sort of inquisitive nature. But he's really comfortable in the woods. That's partly because he looks like a caveman. He's got a long beard, and he looks like he tried out for ZZ Top back in the 80s. And but that aside, Billy, the guy, he knows his way around the woods. I remember, I'll just tell you this little story before we have him on. We were somewhere in Pennsylvania. We were looking at this like topo map, and we were talking about the sighting that occurred. It was a Bigfoot sighting that occurred, out in the woods. And I said to him, "Geez, Dave, this is probably like a 6-mile hike from here. I mean, I don't think we could make it there and back before it got dark." And by the time I finished my sentence, he was already heading out into the woods. I'm like, "Dave, get back here," So he's definitely really gung ho about it. And if you were in the woods if you had to be lost in the woods with someone, Dave is the guy, because like I said, he is comfortable in the woods, but also since he has like the world's worst sense of direction, you'll probably be in the woods a while. So
Wow, he's really going to tear you up when we bring him on.
So Dave he's a member of the Pennsylvania Bigfoot Society. He's also a member of Legend Hunters, and I've accompanied him on a ghost hunt just a couple months ago, back in December. But like I said, and his whole family, they're really, his wife Carrie, she's great. Some people, their wives aren't really into camping or hiking, but Carrie, she's right out there with Dave, and she's not afraid to get out there and go hiking. And I have a really hard time just keeping up with her on the trail. I mean, these people, they're kind of like Bigfoot themselves, But so let's bring Dave on, because I'm sure he's got a few words to say.
All right. Well, Dave is live.
Hello. Are you there?
Dave.
Here.
Hey, how's it going?
Pretty good. How's it going with you,
I
Dave?
tell you what, you could probably keep up with Carrie if those legs were a little bit longer.
Oh. Well, Dave, shorter legs are easier to walk around in circles. So
yeah, you're right. Well, you remember that how many times did we come in on that pine tree cove there?
I don't know. We wrapped around it. No, the thing is, how many times did we come around that pine grove, and how many times did you think there was a different pine grove?
I thought it was a different pine grove only once.
Now, Billy, the one thing you have to know about Dave is that as good as he is in the woods, what his Achilles heel is? His cooking. His cooking. It's horrible. So,
well, I mean, I kind of doubt he brought the steakhouse with him out there for you. I mean,
he was just bragging about, oh, you can't wait till you try my barbecue ham. So finally, he brings a crock pot in, right? And this was at our last ghost hunting expedition. He brings a crock pot in, and of course, I didn't eat all day. I'd driven like 11 hours to get there. I take the top off the crock pot, and what's sitting on top of his barbecue can is like a bolt.
It was a number 7 screw.
It was like
it had like iron to it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we never did find the washer, Dave. It's probably still in my system. No wonder I can't get through airport security.
All right, now, hold on a minute. Did you say a crock pot or a crack pipe?
Oh. Maybe a little of both.
Really, all Dave had to do was throw in like an Allen wrench, and he'd have a 3-course meal with a bolt, a washer, and the Allen wrench.
Oh, boy.
At least I could keep a hold of my chairs. That's probably why I gave you the screw, so you could fix all the chairs that you've been breaking every time we go out in the woods.
That chair was structurally defective, Dave, and I don't appreciate you suggesting anything else.
Oh, okay.
Oh, boy.
Well, so Dave, do you want to talk about some of your past expeditions in Pennsylvania, some of the more prominent ones?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I've got to go on several expeditions with a couple different groups. I actually belong to, I got a long list of groups I belong to. One being the Pennsylvania Bigfoot Society, Q, Center for Unexplained Events, and also the Center for Cryptozoological Studies, the American Bigfoot Society, and I think I named them all. That sounds pretty good. I just figure the more titles I can get under the name, the more important I look whenever I send people an email. But I got the chance to go on a lot of really cool, expeditions, and a lot of them right here in Pennsylvania. That I had some things that it was pretty unexplainable. Now, Bigfoot or not, it was pretty odd. I got to share them with one of the members from the Bigfoot Society, Eric Altman. I got to share a couple with him, and as far as like things being thrown at us, what we believe was being thrown at us, and just different things that we've even found hair samples. stuff like that, and just got a lot of really cool different vocalizations and stuff like that. But I'd have to say one of the most memorable was my very first one was at Salt Fork State Park, and it was with you. It was with Billy and Eric, and I can't even remember exactly where the heck we were over there, but it was my most memorable because it was the first time that anything ever happened, and we was down the bottom, if you remember, Billy, and I know one of the guys that was with us, I think it was Eric, actually had to go to the bathroom, and something enormous was thrown at us. Right beside us, it just landed. It sounded with a big, huge thud. It was almost like I don't know. I was guessing a log, but that was one of my first experiences. I just thought it was awesome, and it always stuck in my head. You know what I mean? It's one of my favorites.
Dave, were you were with Eric Altman when something got thrown at you?
Yeah. Remember, I stuck you up on a hill with a couple of our key members.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Well, Dave, let me just say this: if you were with Eric Altman, there's no mystery why things are getting thrown at you. So
I have to 100% agree. Somebody's going to be throwing something at me. Why do you think I take the guy along? I just blame it on Bigfoot.
Well, I don't know. I mean, while you were still up on the hill, Bruce, I think if you would have been listening to that top of the line parabolic mic system, you would have been able to hear something going on down in the woods.
Oh, that was another thing while we was there. Is was that a crack, Billy?
Was that a what?
No, I mean they did actually. I can't remember who it was, Billy. I'm sure you do. Who had the parabolic bit? I remember them saying, and I think you even said that you could hear something bipedal walking around us, and we even saw eye shine that night. At a few locations, but it was a pretty cool night. Like I said, it was one of my most memorable ones, and it really sticks out quite a bit.
Now, there are quite a few sightings out in the Allegheny National Forest area. I remember you mentioning that one sighting that involved a man and his child, and they had. Do you remember that one where they were up near some sort of waterfall and it was raining?
Yeah. It was way out there in the Allegheny National Forest. The man and his child, they were out hiking and looking at a falls. The falls are called Logan's Falls in the Allegheny National Forest. Actually, kind of hard to find. I looked for it twice before I actually found the thing. But
now that's a shocker, Dave.
I put it on my GPS. But anyway, we looked for it, and we finally did find it. But the guy and his boy was out looking for it, and they were taking pictures of the falls, which is quite an extensive fall. It's pretty nice. It's really cool. But anyway, as he was out looking, they lost track of time, and it got towards night, and the two started wandering off, or figured to make their way back to the vehicle. And if you've ever been in the Allegheny National Forest, which I know you've been, we've camped it. It's pretty immense, and it's easy to get turned around and lose track of where you're at and stuff like that, especially if you don't have something guiding you like myself. And anyway, they got lost in the woods there. During the night, at one point or another, they had to hunker under like a outcropping because it started to rain. And something approached them and almost came. And I believe it was, if I recall the sighting correctly, and I believe I do, is they came face to face with this something, and they both kind of turned around. And the Bigfoot went one way, or the something went one way, and they went another. And nothing came of that, but they found a car the next day. But with some research on the area, and I was looking at maps and stuff like that, I finally did find the falls, and just a really cool area. And I tell you what, if it was anywhere, and that I would believe that that's where I would be if I was a Bigfoot. So
yeah, the
Allegheny
National Park and parts, I think. It's mostly in Pennsylvania, but there's probably a part of it that's in New York State. Am I right about that, Dave?
What's that?
So part of the Allegheny National Forest is partly in New York State. It's the I think it's the the northwestern part of Pennsylvania and like the southwestern part of New York.
Yeah. As a matter of fact,
that's where the Kinswood Dam is.
Yeah, the Kinswood Dam, the bridge. That's all Allegheny National Forest. It goes all the way down through. It's actually the widest part of the Allegheny National Forest that is up and through Pennsylvania.
Now, that's 750,000 acres of land. You're certainly right. I mean, there's a lot of territory out there. And if you consider the fact that very few people go off the trail, there's just a lot of habitat out there.
Yeah. And you know what's cool about the Allegheny National Forest is you don't have to pay anybody to go in them woods. I mean, you can just go.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but if we go with you, we have to pay someone to get us out.
Well, I don't know. Sometimes emergency don't charge you. So.
Really? The search and rescue team charged me $1,500.
Did they really?
That was the early bird.
Well, we've already got a question for you, Dave.
Okay.
Flycatch in the chat room wants me to ask you, and I don't know if you can answer this. I don't even know if I know the answer to it actually.
What the bullshit? Something on it.
He says, ask the guest, when did reports of things being thrown at investigators and others get started? He says in the past, BFRO reports have nothing being noted about that.
I honestly couldn't even tell you that. The only reason why we even, came up with the concept that maybe a Bigfoot was throwing something at us, or maybe something gets thrown at you whenever a Bigfoot, why a Bigfoot would even do it. If he is partial primate, primates are known to grab a hold of stuff and throw stuff. So I guess if something's being thrown, and if you try to deduct anything in the woods, there's nothing other than either a human or some sort of primate that could actually do it. So, like I said, whenever this happened to us, it was an acorn, definitely a big acorn crop at the time. And believe me, me and Altman both tried to figure out how to talk ourselves out of this, you know what I mean? Surely it was an acorn that fell. It probably fell out of the tree, hit the fence behind us. But the way these were coming in, and it was like it was a horizontal projectile. You could actually hear them coming through the treetops, and they were hitting right behind us. There was a fence right behind us. It was a game commission study. Did you ever see them fences out in the woods where they fence in an area? The fence was directly behind us, and they were actually hitting up against this fence. And we did everything to disprove this, even as far as to grabbing the biggest stinking acorn that we could find, throwing it up in the air, and see if we could mimic that sound that it was hitting with, such force that it was hitting with. It was identical to, it's what you thought a rock would be like, you know what I mean? Heavy like that. So we tried everything we could, and it was still certainly not ruling out acorns. I mean, it just, it definitely could be that we couldn't find any rocks, the place is so rocky, we couldn't pick out a rock and say, oh, that wasn't there a little bit ago, So can we 100% say that something was thrown at us? No, but I tell you what, the likelihood of it was pretty high. So that's what happened there.
Especially if it's pretty high, especially if you figure that Bigfoot might have eaten your cooking.
Yeah, you never, that sometimes can cause a problem. All right, we've got two callers on the line. The first one I'm gonna bring in's been holding for about 5 minutes. Caller from the 614 area code. You're on the air.
Hey guys, so we're just checking in.
Hey, it's Terry and Trebaugh.
That's
right.
Correct.
All right.
Good.
You guys got a question for Dave, or are you just tuning in, listening in?
Well, we're intrigued with the throwing part of it. Treba actually had a pebble tossed in her lap one night. We've been and run out of the woods with the rock throwing. Both those events were at night, late wee hours of the morning, really.
Yeah.
Terry, was I there when that happened?
I can't remember exactly, Bruce. I know that you may have been there at one time. See, here's the funny thing about this, and you may have been here that one of the weekends that it did happen. It didn't happen just one weekend. It was a series of weekends, probably about 3 to 4 of them together that it happened in. And to be honest with you, we were happy when it stopped because it lent us the fact that it probably wasn't naturally reoccurring. By it happening over and over again, we were like, okay, wait a minute here. Something's weird. But finally it gave up, and like I said, it wasn't continuous all night long. It was almost like when it was provoked or when we moved into a different, almost like sometimes at one point or another, like whenever we turned our backs to the direction that them came in, that's when something was thrown or landed close by. I know it sounds odd, and believe me, I'm a big advocate of not everything is squatchy. I hate that term, but not everything is. I'd like to rule out every possibility before I'd even call it that. But I tell you what, there was some pretty odd things going on that weekend as far as that stuff goes, and how do you explain it? I'm not sure.
Yeah,
it is odd. I remember, and I can't remember if Terry and Trooper were there, but I kind of think that they were because Terry he usually brings a box of wood, and this was out at Saltport. And when the wood's all done, I know he burns the cardboard box and puts it up on the fire. And Terry, correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't something get thrown from the woods and it hit that box and knocked it off the grill?
Well, it made a thump on the side of the box. It was probably 10 minutes after Treba had a pebble through it in her lap.
Yeah. I can't...
It's like they just want to mess with you, I think. It's something for them to do. I don't know. I think they did it, and I'm standing there with my hands in my coat pocket, so it was obvious to them that I didn't do anything. It came from the woods somewhere.
Yeah. And it was pretty late in the morning, too. Wasn't it around 3 a.m. or something like that? It was really late, I recall.
Yeah.
Because it was a really ticked-off Amish guy.
It could have been. Now, Dave, when you talk... Oh, go ahead, Terry.
Rex told me a story about a guy that he thought he was dealing with a bear at first, and he saw a shadow of a hand from the firelight outside his tent. And he went outside with a pistol to confront what he thought was a bear, and this creature tossed pine cones at him about all night. I don't know if any of you ever heard that story, but
yeah.
I don't know who the guy was. That's a secondhand story, and I think he was a publisher.
Wow.
This creature, something, threw pine cones all night at him.
Now, Dave, have you've been? I know that you've hiked out in the Clearfield County area.
Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about that some sightings out in that area?
What's that?
Can you talk a little bit about some of your research and the sightings out in the Clearfield County area?
Yeah, sure. We focused a lot of our works up in the Clearfield County area. The reason why we focused a lot of it up there is because of a cluster of sightings. Now, not all in 1 year, of course, but throughout the years, some of them being as old as 5 to 6 years old. But still, as you look at them and you map them out, you can cluster them, you can put them together, which is really interesting. So what we did, and I like to consider myself someone that don't wait for reports. I like to go out and research again and again. I like to treat it a lot like hunting, where, just because a deer ain't there one weekend don't mean it's not there. you keep on going to that same spot until you see that nice big buck go by, and, well, there you go. There you have it. But I like to treat it as much like hunting as possible, with the hopes that, one of these weekends or one of these times I'm bound to hit it lucky. But like I said, we focus a lot of our time and work up in this area up in Clearfield County, and a lot of it has been, turned up next to nothing. A lot of it we found footprints, or at least impressions, not really good not good in footprints. Pennsylvania is a pretty tough one to get one in. I'm sure a lot of the states up this way, and even probably down towards you, Billy, a lot of those this ground isn't real. It don't take footprints real well. It don't show up real good. But we find a lot of impressions, and when you measure them out, it's pretty interesting. That they come up within the size ranges that everybody seems to claim that they have. And but like I said, we focused a lot of our work up in there. We've had sightings up to recent. I'm going to say about the last one was about a year ago up in the area. That was really anything really to look into, where the couple actually saw a creature go across the road, and they was able to describe it pretty decently as far as being fur-covered, dark in color, and actually they even was able to say it had white bottoms to the feet. Now, does that tell me that maybe Bigfoot wears Nikes? That's a possibility. Or is it light-colored on the bottom of the feet? I'm not sure. But what was unfortunate about the whole deal was, at the time that they saw it, the night they saw it, there was no snow. The day that I finally got to go up there, the very next day, I got to finally go up and meet them and actually take a look at the area. We just got pummeled with snow. So anything that was left behind was gone at this point. The only thing that I noticed, now, please don't take me wrong here, and please don't think that I look into this too much. One thing that I have been noticing in a lot of the sighting areas, now, weather does some pretty odd things. There is no doubt about it. But we've been finding a lot of what looks like X formations that the trees are in, where they lay and make sort of an X-looking thing. It's quite substantial trees, too. Not just little X's or like Bigfoot was sitting on the ground weaving sticks together, but substantial X's. So what we did, and not to pay too much attention to it, but I think it is definitely something a researcher should keep in the back of their mind. But I've been finding quite a few of these things. And so we do take pictures of them, keep in the back of our minds, hey, they are there. Someday maybe something will tie into it, and it will ring a bell and say, oh, wow, we found those too, or something. Maybe we'll be able to tie it in somehow, whether it be a land marker or, say, hey, this is the way I can go and see less people. I'm not sure. Maybe it's paint and play time for Bigfoot. It's a possibility. But like I said, we don't put too much into it. Another thing that we found while we were up in the area was what almost looked like to be a shelter. And like I said, I can't say Bigfoot for real, that, for sure or nothing. That's why I keep on saying almost or could be, possibly. But what we found was a tree, and the tree fell over. And there was a tree that fell over, but smaller trees were pulled into it and down in underneath it. Okay, well, that first off suggests to me that the tree that fell actually pulled trees down in. But one thing that was really cool, and a lot of people went up and looked at this, I've taken some people up to show them this, so they could see it and see what we found, is that there was trees from way out beyond that was drug in and pulled underneath, almost as if something was trying to make some kind of makeshift shelter out of something that was already there. Now, was it Bigfoot? I don't know. Or was it just weather? That's more of a possibility to me, but you never can tell. But the trees that were out so far, this radius that was pulled down in, just was a stumper. As we looked at it more and more, we realized that there was actually one of those huge X's that I talked about right in front of the thing. You couldn't see this from any kind of trail or anything like that, but it was there. So what we've been doing is kind of like we just set up a lot of trail cams, stuff like that, in hopes to find something. Most of the time we see deer or myself walking into the woods. You don't get too much as far as pictures or anything like that. But, we try to, like I said, we treat it like we're hunting a deer or something.
All right. Let me grab another one of these callers in here. Caller from the 804 area code, you're on the air. Who do we got?
From Tyler, now of Tuckahoe, Virginia. I'm just listening. If you could mute me.
Oh, okay. Listening. All right. Just checking in with you. Thanks.
Thanks.
Now, Dave,
yeah.
One thing I hear is that, people say, well, if there's so many Bigfoot out there, how come hunters never see them? But I think there have been at least a couple sighting reports of hunters down in the Clearfield County area that have seen, something that they described as a
no
Bigfoot.
doubt about it, Bruce, and there's no doubt about it. But I do have a theory on this. All right. First off, your average hunter in Pennsylvania, and I'm not sure about surrounding states, but I know in Pennsylvania, go no more off that road than they absolutely need to. If you travel along Interstate 80 in the fall time, it's kind of scary because you can look right off the road and probably 100 yards away, there's a tree stand up in a tree. So
wow.
My theory on that is some hunters and most hunters, come on, even I've done it, I'm guilty of it, to where I went out hunting and thought, well, I'm not going to go far. If I shoot one, I only can drag it maybe 100 feet and I'm in my car, you know what I mean? So my theory is the average hunter probably don't even make it a mile into the woods at a time. So how hard would it be for a Bigfoot to even not be seen? I don't think too hard at all.
All right, and let me grab this one last caller here. Caller from the 724 area code, you're on the air.
Hey guys, how you doing? It's Brian.
Hey Brian.
Hey Brian.
Hey Steve. What's going on, pal?
Hey man, I just wanted to ask the mighty Dave Rupert if he has had any more Po Valley plesiosaur sightings up in his area.
Bruce, I don't know if you realize this, but my thunder spreads far and wide across Pennsylvania, from finding Bigfoot to Plovelia plesiosaurs.
Can you explain what that is?
No, I can't. I've never found one. But I can tell you that I did get a phone call one time from somebody wanted me to talk about a purple squirrel found here in Pennsylvania. Did you know about that? What do you say about that?
I've actually heard
your barbecue ham.
I've heard the purple squirrel come up on several occasions.
Yeah, the purple squirrel came up on. They actually called, Altman first, and he sent them my way. The guy called me and said, "Hey, can you talk about the purple squirrel?" I said, "No, I don't even know where I'd begin with that. It's purple. I mean, that's about all I could say. How do you talk about something like that? I don't know."
But hey, I just called in to just say, hey, it's been great to, to work with great people like, Dave and Carrie, and you too, Bruce. It's just
thanks, Brian.
We're lucky here, in our group Q and CCS. We have good people, and Dave and I have done a lot of things. Dave, we've done some ghost hunting from everywhere from the aviary to the Hillview, and we've seen a UFO up in Clearfield. Maybe you could talk about that later, Dave. We've had a rock thrown at us in Beaver Creek, and we just heard some vocalizations last year down there. So.
Oh, yeah, definitely. It was really interesting. We was down there in Beaver Creek. We went down, and here's what's really cool. We went down there, Beaver Creek, Ohio. We went down to Ohio. What we did, we went down for Halloween. It was during Halloween. We went down, and we was invited down, and actually we got to go down, and we got to hold games for the kids, talk about Bigfoot with the kids, and the adults too, and sort of like an introduction type thing. And we even got to talk about our groups as we stood up. We got to go up in front of everybody, talk about the groups and what they were all about, and explain things a little bit. And we took them on a night hike. It was a lantern-lit tour, which was really not quite a lantern-lit tour. It was a flashlight tour. Let's just say that. It was a flashlight hike. We took them on a flashlight hike, and on the way we explained what we look for, what we do, different things like that. And that night, or no, not that night. It was the very next night. We was up sleeping, and we was up getting ready to go to bed. It was after we came home from a ghost hunt. There's a couple places down there that was well known for their ghosts. So we was on a ghost hunt, and we came into the campsite that night. And we was all getting ready to bunker down, and down from in the bottom there, this one bottom in particular, we heard this god awful noise. I mean, it was just this real long moan, just real like I don't know how to even explain it, like it was just real deep and real bellowy. That's the word, bellowy, just real deep, and it just something I've probably never heard in my life before, and I know I haven't. And what was interesting about the whole thing is, we got to talking a couple months later. Brian found out that here they were having sightings down by this one dumpster where Bigfoot was, a creature has been coming into these dumpsters and sort of like raiding up in through them and stuff. And when we thought about it, the dumpsters were in the direction of that call from that campsite. So it was just kind of cool. It wasn't anything really we got to look into too much at the time, because at that time we heard it, but where the hell do we go from here? Because, we couldn't tell how far it was away or nothing. So sort of just, chalked another one up for personal experiences. But
And what it was, Dave, was exactly, and if anyone would want to hear basically what we heard, is you go on the BFRO website underneath Ohio How, which was taken in Columbiana County, which we were on that, me and my son were on that property, and my wife, probably where that was taken from the BFRO. I believe Matt Moneymaker was there, and he's the one that took it. It is the exact same thing. I mean, it was the exact same how. And me and Dave and Terry and Carrie, we just looked at each other. It's like, this can't be happening, because it was about, I believe it was like 10 to 2 in the morning, right, Dave? We had got back, and
it was pretty early in the morning. I know that, but yeah.
And I had never heard anything like that in my life. And if we heard it one more time, we probably were going to go try to find it, but. It was in the general direction, like Dave says. I believe it was down by the village. And I know, Billy, you've done. You were in the general vicinity when you went with the BFRO expedition, and you had some interesting things happen down there.
Oh yeah, I found probably one of the most elaborate stick structures I'd ever found down there. I mean, that place. This stick structure was phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we've been down there. I went down there with a few of the folks from BFRO, and it's a good area. I love the area.
Mm-hmm. We intend to we know where this right around where this dumpster is, and we intend to do. We may even be going down this Saturday evening coming up, and I have a couple interesting things I'm going to try down there and see if, because according to the one guy I talked to, they actually had. He said he believed he had about 4 creatures around him. I guess they were angry that this they were by the dumpsters. It seemed like they were trying to raid food out of this dumpster, and they were there, and they were kind of ticked off about it. So it is one area we're going to start monitoring probably here in the next couple of weeks and all through the spring and summer. So.
Okay, cool. Very cool.
Well, thanks, guys. I don't want to take up any more of your time, and a great job, Dave. Man, I'll be talking to you.
Yeah, Brian. Before you go, do you just want to mention your conference in April?
Yeah. We have our 6th annual Butler Paranormal Conference, which Q co-sponsors. It is on April 27th. It is at the Tanglewood Senior Center, and Bruce, I believe you were there last year too.
I was. It was a great time.
Dave's there every year
too.
And Dave's there every year. And actually, Dave's kids were the boys in black the last couple of years, because last year the men in black were a no-show. So, but we have a lot of great speakers coming. We have also Doug Waller of the Ohio group, Southeastern Ohio Bigfoot group, and we have some UFO speakers, and it's going to be a great time. So if anybody's in the area, it starts at doors open in the public at 10 o'clock, and the speakers start at 11. And it's one of the cheapest conferences around. It's only $10 to get in, $1 if you bring a canned good in for the food bank. So, hope to see anybody there.
And I'll try not to eat too many of those cans while I'm sitting there.
Yeah, wish you wouldn't throw them at the speakers, Dave. They don't appreciate that very much.
Hopefully the Men in Black will be out of detox by now. So.
and Bruce, we can't wait for us to come to the Creature Weekend. We are spreading the word. Some talks were given, and these groups we're going to. I think we're going to have a packed house for you, buddy.
Yeah, I think it's going to be very, very busy as well. Thanks, Brian.
Speaking of which, I'm really excited. We got a really cool lineup, as far as conferences coming up, like the Butler Paranormal Conference. Creature Week, I'm just absolutely excited about. Can't wait to see everybody. That's what's really cool about this whole Bigfoot thing. Find Bigfoot or not. That's what somebody asked me one time. What if you find out Bigfoot isn't real? What if you found out all this was wasted time? Is that what you're going to feel like you wasted time? Hell no. I'd say no, because I've got to meet some of the coolest people. Got to know all you guys. We just have a blast together, and that's what it's all about, for crying out loud. I mean, if you can't have a good time with it, for Christ's sake, quit.
You're right, yeah. If it starts to become a job or not fun, or you feel, then it probably is time to pack it up. So you have to enjoy what you do.
Definitely.
Yeah, you both.
I'll see you guys. I'm going to let you go.
Okay,
thanks. Okay, take it easy, guys.
Take care.
Bye.
Dave, you and your wife were both at Creature Weekend last year as well, were you not?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, they used me as the bouncer at the door, you remember? I was the ugliest looking one there.
Well, guess what, Dave? Dave's got another question out of the chat room. Another question from Flycatch, because I guess where you were talking earlier about finding prints and stuff, he wants to know if you have traveled the creek beds in that area that you were talking about, looking for possible trackways.
Definitely. I definitely traveled the creek beds in hopes to find like a muddy area. But what's really funny about this area, as you get down into the creek beds and such, it gets even rockier down towards there. So it's hard to find these muddy areas. My favorite time to hit the areas is right after a rainstorm and, during the wintertime. It's just such a... Like I said, just the soil and everything in Pennsylvania just absolutely sucks when it comes to getting prints. The most you get is impressions, and some of them you can, of course, rule out as being boots. You can start seeing heels and stuff like that in them. But some of the places that we found them was absolutely just out of the way, and who the heck else has gone down in there but us crazy guys down there looking for Bigfoot? There's some of them that we even find is they're so misshapen at one point, not misshapen, but just to cast them would be just an utter waste of time. You wouldn't get anything from them. Only just say that, hey, look, this is what I found and this is what shape it was in. But, yeah, I definitely check out the creek beds. One of the cool things that happened up there, and this was just recent, we had an outing up there. We have a big body of water not far from there. Matter of fact, there's a lot of water sources, and one of the things that I look for, and I'm sure all of us do, is when I go into an area, what I look for is like the food source, water source, a place to stay, just everything that would make it, make it so it could be a good habitat for something such as that. Is there some way to get food? So one of the things we found, and it was really interesting, we got this big body of water close by, and all these little streams. We went up into the woods up in there one day, and my wife and a couple other researchers started finding shells, like seashells, and they were finding them all through the woods, just sort of scattered. And this was, let's say, a good 3 to 4 miles away from this large body of water, and at least 2 to 3 miles away from any creeks in the area that we were. And once we got to looking and examining these shells, I started to check up in it. Here we find out it's freshwater mussels, which we have plenty of them here. So one of the things we started thinking, okay, who's going to carry these up? What's going to carry up through, into the woods like this? Would a raccoon do it? And we started eliminating that possibility because, for the most part, raccoons are pretty clean eaters about everything they do. They'd probably stay close by to the water and clean off what they're eating. And would they carry a bunch up at a time? Their hands are pretty small. I don't think they can. So we kept on going over and over again. What could this be? Is there a bunch of rednecks having a picnic? I don't think so, because we can't afford them up this way. Nobody works around here. So one of the things that popped in my head and popped in several of our heads, okay, here we go. Here's a possible food source. Other than, hey, is Bigfoot chasing down deer and breaking their legs? I don't know. But I do know that he's definitely going to take advantage of whatever hold. If he's an actual creature, a living creature, that I believe he's going to be a lot like a bear and take advantage of most anything they can get a hold of. It just rang into my head as, wow, all right, cool, we found another food source, and a prominent one at that.
Well, Dave, one of the people in the chat room mentioned, when you were talking about your experiences of having things thrown at you, they mentioned pot growers. Now, normally you'd laugh at that, but you've actually had some run-ins with people out in the woods who, let's just say, have practiced some horticulture.
That's why I was laughing, because I was recalling. Not that I didn't think it was a possibility. Okay, okay. Like I said, and that's why we never say for 100% for sure. Yeah, Bigfoot threw shit at me. No, I can't say that. Could it be a pot grower? Could it be something like that? Somebody that don't want us in the area? That is a very big possibility. But one time in particular, we went down in this area, and a lot of our places up here in Pennsylvania get real hillbilly-ish. Okay, it sort of resembles. It's pretty close cousins to Virginia, and in West Virginia. But a lot of these, there's a lot of these people, a lot of these places up in here. They got people living up in there. We don't even know they're there. But we took off onto this dirt road. We wanted to go up and investigate this area. We was investigating the area. We was checking out the area we got to meet up with a witness at this sighting area, and we saw this truck go up over this hill. And we thought, well, that must be the owners of the area. Let's go up and ask them if we can stake out the area. Spend a night here or whatever we can. See what we're allowed to do. Because hey, it's best to get permission. That's all there is to it. So we take off up over the road after this pickup truck, and when we got up there, we noticed. We just started kind of looking around. It's like, holy shit! There's little pots. Like these like boarded-in areas, these squared boarded-in areas, and they had fences up really high, and there was these plants growing in them. And the one guy says to me, he says, "Rupert, is that pot?" I said, No, it couldn't be. And just as I said that, here comes the white pickup truck up in front of us and stops right in front of us. We go. Okay, I said, Ron, we got to get out of here, And he puts in reverse, and doesn't another vehicle come up right behind us? Like, holy shit, like that. So what do? So the best thing I thought of was, okay, I'm going to get out my Bigfoot card. I'm going to go up and tell him what I'm looking for. So me and Ron jump out of the truck, and I get a hold of the card, and I walk up to his truck, and I said, hey, I started explaining what I was doing, and I said, hey, is the owner around? Yeah, he's down over the hill. It's my uncle, and I think he'll be pretty mad that you're here. I said, holy crap, I said, well, we'll get out of here. Meanwhile, as we were doing this, my wife's in the truck, and she puts it in gear, and she thinks, well, if they start pulling out guns, I'm running people over. But it was a scary experience. So is it a possibility that we've ran into stuff like that? Yes, I'd say a huge possibility. And that's, as investigators, we cannot say whether or not it is 100% Sasquatch.
Well, speaking of your wife, Dave, she also has similar cooking skills to you, as I recall. Do you remember?
Bruce, let me interrupt. They were the best dang mountain pies that she's ever made, and I'm not sure why you didn't eat them.
Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? So tell everyone the story. So it's 2011. We're camping out in the Allegheny National Forest. Dave and his family come out, and the big treat was that his wife was going to make some moose pies. Is that right?
Mountain pies. Mountain pie.
I don't know I have no idea what mountain pies are. All I know is they put the sandwich in this griddle. It looks like a waffle griddle with long handles, and she puts the sandwich in there, and then she puts it in the fire. Well, she forgets that it's in the fire. By the time she pulls it out, it's like red, it's like orange and glowing. All right, so Billy, this thing, if I had a hammer and anvil, if I could have forged it into a sword, all right? Then they pry it open, and there's this like something black. It looked like a piece of anthracite, and if they left it probably like another day, it would have been a diamond. All right. So, and if people think I'm being unfair, I just want to say that, we all have aspirations, and it's okay if we fall short. We all strive for excellence. But for some reason, the Rupert's aspiration is to make food that's marginally edible. And so when they fall short, people's lives are at risk. You know what I mean?
I tell you what, Billy, if it snows tonight, I'm not sure if we'll ever get to see Bruce again.
Oh, wow.
I got a pretty funny story. Me and Bruce went out. We was on a night op one night, and we had another investigator with us. And anyway, so we were walking along in the woods, and the investigator happened to look down on the woods and down on the wood floor, and he found these twigs twisted together. And he goes, "Look at that. I think Bigfoot was weaving trees." I said, "Bruce, you got to get a picture of that."
Wow.
You know what it is?
Has this like, "I'm going to kill you, Dave" look on his face. And he did take a couple pictures of it. Thanks.
Rupert's making me take pictures of deadfall. There's only like 10,000 of them in the woods. It's just deadfall. There's nothing special about it.
It was
leaves, branches fall from the trees, and they land in a pile on the forest floor. Okay, it's just deadfall. And Rupert's there saying, "Oh, Bruce, take a picture of this." Just to satisfy this other guy.
It was a good time though. Every time we go on investigation, and this is what's cool. Like I said, we're so lucky, and we don't realize it. I mean, I think we do. I know I realize it. We're so lucky to have the people that we have, the friendship we have with each other, because we just have a good time in everything we do, and it's just so worth it to me.
I think that's one of the great things about these expeditions going out, and I think it's great to have the right frame of mind. I think certainly when we go out on these expeditions, we're looking to collect some evidence, but I think that you can't, you just can't be too serious about it. You can't ignore the fact that this is actually a fun thing that people are doing, and just take the time to enjoy not only like the nature when you're out in the woods, but enjoy the camaraderie of your teammates.
Oh, definitely. And that's why. And another thing, point as far as that goes. Why do I take my kids out in the woods with me? Do I want them, and do I force them to believe in Bigfoot? No, I don't. Someday they may look at Dad and say, "Hey, he's just a crazy old gook." But I tell you what, until then, they're getting as much out of nature as possible, and I'm huge on that. I think that's where we belong. That's where we came from. Wasn't that damn long ago, man came out of the jungle. Let's not forget it's there. Take it for what it is. Leave it for what it is. Take care of it and appreciate it.
Dave,
okay, well, you know what? Y'all are in trouble now.
Why?
Because the boss man has just called in.
Who's the boss man?
Yeah, the boss man. Is that Eric?
What's up, Billy?
Hey, what's going on, Eric?
Hey,
I called in to steal your thunder, Rupert.
Ah, shit. I knew that was going to happen. I can't do nothing. I can't do nothing without that.
Stick to hunting purple squirrels.
Just when I build up my thunder, you knock it down to a firecracker.
Somebody's got to keep you in line.
No, we've had good times, haven't we, old Altman there, huh?
Oh, yeah, we've had some great times out there, except when Bruce comes along.
Those are the best times.
You're too busy taking pictures of deadfall. What are you talking about?
Yeah, that's Rupert's fault. Don't let Rupert con you. The reason why he brings his kids out in the woods is so that he can find his way home. He just follows his kids.
No, he brings them out in the woods so he can show them the Taj Mahal that you camp in.
My God! I saw pictures of that. That's absolutely nuts.
No. I don't know why you guys
of the forest.
Why are you guys making such a big deal about the tent?
When we were in Virginia, who was the only one camping in a tent that had a big screen TV in their tent?
Well, whoa, wait a minute. It was an LCD monitor. It wasn't a big screen TV.
And that's why you were watching Gone with the Wind and Phantom of the Opera.
I don't know why you guys are picking on my tent. My tent is a very small tent that, barely
small. It was one step down from a 36-foot RV.
Your tent is like the Park Avenue of tents, Bruce. Pay $1,500 a month rent for that thing on Park Avenue. Good grief.
When Luke Skywalker seen it, he said, "That's not a moon, that's a space station."
All right, Billy, this is a horrible idea. This idea was to have these guys on the show.
I can't stop laughing right now. Sorry.
So I heard they were talking about the rock throwing incidents that we experienced up there in Central PA, and some of the crazy stuff that we've actually experienced out there in the woods. I was just going to make a comment that people that go out in the woods usually don't have stuff happen to them, but we've been rather lucky the last couple of years and have had some pretty interesting encounters.
Yeah, even down. Let's go as far as down your way, Altman. Down in your part of the woods down in Fayette, as far as them weird noises we captured on them video or the audio.
Oh yeah, the screams
down by the windmills.
The screams and the howls and the strange, whatever the heck it was in the woods that was imitating my calls. It sounded just like me, but it was a deeper voice.
Yeah. I mean, from out in the middle of nowhere, these places we're going, I mean, they're not surrounded by, outskirts of houses or nothing. These go for miles without anything. They're very secluded areas. So, in saying that, we've eliminated a lot of, is somebody messing around. For the most part, most of the time when we go places, people don't know we're there.
Eric, your description of someone having a deeper voice. Your description of someone having a deeper voice doesn't really narrow things down. I mean, Dave's 13-year-old kid has a deeper voice than you.
Hey, at least I'm out there squatching and not eating a steak.
Ain't that amazing? No matter where we go with you, you can come to any town, no matter where you go. You smell out the steakhouses. It absolutely amazes me. I'll never forget the little place that you... Huh?
That's not true. Dave, that's not true. I had one 32-ounce steak at Pitzer's, and then people won't let me live that down.
No. You don't remember. You don't recall coming up here to the northern PA. I remember going to a steakhouse, and you told me where it was at. And out in the middle of Ohio, Bruce drags us all to this little diner in the middle of nowhere. And he can smell out these foods, which was really good. But what was odd, when we sat down, me and my wife got there a little late, if you recall. When we sat down, we heard dogs barking. We looked at the deer mount that was right above our heads, and all these collars hanging off a deer mount, and these dogs are barking. And finally, when we do get our burgers, no more dogs are barking. But I bet you that was probably the best damn dog I've ever eaten in my life.
Well, knowing how your wife cooks, you're probably right.
Oh my gosh.
Now, hey Billy, let me ask you this, Billy, and you can vouch for this. When we went to Washington State, Bruce, yourself, myself, and the gang that went, where was the first place we ate when we got almost down to Yakima? Do you remember?
It was a steakhouse.
And Bruce picked it out.
Yeah, and Bruce picked it out. Now,
wait a minute.
All right, hold on. Before we go on, I just want to say thanks to everyone for listening to the show tonight. We've only got 30 seconds of live feed left. We're going to continue in the archives with this craziness. So we will see you all next week. Thanks a lot for coming in. Okay, y'all continue.
Wait a minute. I didn't pick up that steakhouse. We just came upon it.
You were driving the lead.
It just came out up on. No, you know what you was doing? You was sniffing probably the whole way there. I know it. Old Bruce probably had the window rolled down in his vehicle with his nose sticking out, going.
But I got to make one more comment, and then I'm going to jump off the phone here.
Okay.
You're right, Dave, when you made that comment earlier about the friendships that we've made. That's why Bruce and I and Billy and I and you and I, we all joke around and kid around and have fun. It's because we've made some really good friends doing this, and that's probably one of the best things about the whole Sasquatch phenomenon is making the good friends that you do and being able to spend time with them in the woods and joke around and have fun. Because if it wasn't like this, if we weren't able to have fun and kid around, I'm not able to talk to Bruce on the phone or you on the phone or Billy on the phone, it really wouldn't be worth it.
It wouldn't be. I mean, what would it be all about? It? We might as well just stop and quit. So, yeah, definitely. I agree 100%.
I don't know.
Nice
I'm still waiting to make good friends with someone.
Bruce, did we say that you was involved in this comment?
Talking too much. I'll talk to you guys later. You guys have a good night.
All right.
Good night, Eric.
Oh, we have fun, don't we?
I tell you what, this was a good time. Thanks for having me on tonight. This was really cool.
Well, before I let you go, and because Flycatch had another question before we went off live, he might probably listen to the archives. He wants to know your opinion. He says if ever a Bigfoot body is exposed to the public, will the researchers stop researching?
I don't think so. I think that will just be, okay, now it's time for me to get my chance to see one. Now we know they're real. I still want to see one. Come on, we proved whitetail were real, and people all over Pennsylvania is hunting them every year. I mean, I just think it's going to be one of those, okay, now I want to go get a picture of it. All right, we all know that blue jays are real, but people are out trying to take pictures of them all the time. I just think maybe some of the research, as far as, some of the people are going to slack off a little bit because they know they're there, but I think you're going to want your avid ones are going to know, okay, now what the hell do they do? What is their mating habits? What is this? What is that? You're going to want to learn from them now. So it would open up a whole new avenue of research.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I agree. You're really right.
Well, we had a fun show tonight.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
Oh, that was a great time. I really appreciate you guys having me on and talking to you guys.
Well, thanks for calling on, Dave.
Yep.
Oh, anytime.
All right. Well, you got anything else that you want to add, Bruce, before we tie the show up?
Yeah, I just wanted to mention that in addition to the Butler Paranormal Conference, we have also the Unexplained Bigfoot, UFOs, and Paranormal Conference that is taking place on April 6th, and that's hosted by the Southeastern Ohio Society for Bigfoot Investigations. That starts at 10 a.m. Again, it's going to be held at the Crossroads Branch Library in Cambridge, Ohio. Also, Billy, you're speaking at the Chautauqua Bigfoot Conference in Mayville. That's April 26th, 27th, and 28th, and I believe the speakers are actually going to be speaking on the 28th. Am I right about that?
Yeah, that's correct.
So that'll be a great time. And last but not least is the Creature Weekend that you're also going to be speaking at May 3rd, 4th, and 5th, and that's going to be at Salt Fork State Park.
Yep, and that should be a fun event too. I mean, a lot of the blogs are picking up the event and Creature Weekend event, and they've got a lot of great things to say about it.
Yeah, and Dave's going to be there. Eric's going to be there. It's going to be a great. It's going to be a lot of fun. It'll be great.
Yep. And one of these years, I might even be asked to speak.
Well, yeah. One of these years, like maybe the 25th, annual Creature Weekend, we'll ask you to speak, Dave.
I appreciate it.
Well, all kidding aside, Dave is actually participating in this year's Creature Weekend. On Sunday, we're having some workshops and Dave is going to be one of the researchers hosting the workshop. Dave and Billy will be showing us how to go out on the trail, talking about evidence collection. So, if you had a lot of fun listening to Dave on the show tonight, it's going to be even more fun in person. So definitely tune in to Creature Weekend.
Yep, should be a good time.
Oh, yep. Really looking forward to it.
All right, guys, we'll wrap this show up tonight, and I'll make an announcement sometime this coming weekend on who our guests will be next week. And until then, everybody have a great week, and I guess I'll be shoveling out the snow in the morning.
Good luck, Billy.
Good luck, Billy, and Bruce, keep your head above the snow, okay?
That's right.
I'll try, Dave. You son of a gun, you.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
You're listening to Sasquatch Watch Radio on the Blog Talk Radio Network. Thank you for joining us on another episode of Sasquatch Watch Radio. Remember to join us again next Tuesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern. We appreciate every one of our listeners. Thank you so much for being here.
Lucky Land Casino, asking people, what's the weirdest place you've gotten lucky?
Lucky? In line at the deli, I guess?
Aha, in my dentist's office. More than once, actually.
Do I have to say?
Yes, you do.
In the car before my kids' PTA meeting.
Really?
Yes.
Excuse me, what's the weirdest place you've gotten lucky?
I never win and tell.
Well, there you have it. You can get lucky anywhere, playing at LuckyLandSlots.com. Play for free right now. Are you feeling lucky? No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.